The call came in at 11:47 p.m. A serval cat had been found locked in a dog crate in an abandoned storage unit. No food, no water, just a wild animal left to die because someone decided she wasn't cute anymore. When our rescue team arrived, what we saw made us sick. This wasn't just neglect, this was cruelty wrapped in ignorance, sold as exotic pet ownership. And the cat inside that crate? She was about to teach us something we'd never forget. Her name was supposed to be Zuri. That's what the paperwork said. Paperwork that was fake, by the way. Forged documents claiming she was captive bred, legally owned, fully vaccinated. All lies. The truth? She'd been smuggled as a kitten, sold online for $8,000 to a couple who thought owning a wild African cat would make them interesting. For the first 6 months, she was their Instagram star. Cute photos, viral videos, thousands of likes. But servals don't stay kitten-sized. They grow into 40-pound predators with legs built for sprinting and jaws designed for hunting. And when Zuri started acting like the wild animal she was, her owners panicked. They locked her in that crate and walked away. If you're someone who cares about what happens to animals when humans make selfish, reckless choices, then you need to stay with the story. Hit that subscribe button right now, because what happened next is going to show you exactly why exotic animals are not pets, and why rescue work is about so much more than just saving lives. It's about giving second chances to creatures who never asked to be torn from their natural world in the first place. When we opened that crate, Zuri didn't run, she didn't hiss, she just laid there, her golden eyes dull, her breathing shallow. Her legs were weak from being confined, her coat was matted, she was dehydrated and malnourished. But the worst part? She'd given up. You could see it. This wild, powerful animal had been broken by people who never should have had her. We got her to the sanctuary immediately. Dr. Ellison, our lead veterinarian, examined her under sedation. Severe malnutrition, muscle atrophy, infected wounds on her paws from standing in her own waste, a fractured tooth, early signs of kidney damage from lack of water. She'd been in that crate for at least 2 weeks, maybe longer. How do people do this? How do they look at a living being and just walk away? The first 48 hours were critical. Zuri was on IV fluids, antibiotics, pain medication. She wouldn't eat, wouldn't move unless we physically lifted her. Dr. Ellison wasn't sure she'd make it. But here's the thing about wild animals. They have a survival instinct that runs deeper than trauma, deeper than pain, deeper than anything humans can inflict on them. On the 3rd day, Zuri lifted her head. On the 4th day, she drank water on her own. On the 5th day, she ate a small piece of raw chicken, and on the 6th day, she stood up. Recovery wasn't linear. Some days she'd take steps forward, other days she'd retreat into the corner of her enclosure, trembling at every sound. Servals are naturally skittish. They're hardwired to be alert, cautious, hyper-aware of their surroundings. But Zuri's fear wasn't natural. It was learned. She'd been taught that humans meant confinement, hunger, abandonment. So we had to teach her something different. We had to show her that not all humans are cruel, that some of us will fight for her. I started spending every afternoon sitting outside her enclosure, not staring, not trying to interact, just being there, reading, talking softly, letting her observe me on her terms. For 2 weeks, she ignored me. She'd pace along the far side of the habitat, her long legs moving in that distinctive serval gait, elegant and powerful, even in captivity. But she never came close. Then one day, she did. I was reading aloud from a book, not even looking up, when I felt it. That prickle on the back of your neck when you're being watched. I glanced up slowly, and there she was, standing 10 feet away, ears swiveled forward, staring directly at me. Not with fear, with curiosity. If you've ever worked with animals who've been abused, you know this moment. This is the moment they decide whether or not to trust again, whether or not the risk is worth it. I didn't move, didn't speak. I just held her gaze and let her choose. She took one step closer, then another. Then she sat down, still watching me. We stayed like that for 20 minutes, her watching, me barely breathing. And then she chirped. Servals don't meow like house cats. They chirp, a high-pitched sound that's both strange and beautiful. She chirped at me, and I knew she was ready. Over the next month, Zuri transformed. She started playing with enrichment toys, pouncing on feather wands like the apex predator she was born to be. She'd leap 6 feet straight up to catch them midair, her body twisting in ways that seemed to defy physics. She'd sprint across her enclosure at 50 miles per hour, her spotted coat a blur of gold and black. She was becoming herself again. But here's what surprised everyone. She didn't just tolerate me, she chose me. During feeding time, she'd wait by the gate until I arrived. When I entered her space, she'd approach, rubbing her head against my leg, purring that deep, rumbling purr that only big cats make. The vets were stunned. Wild animals don't bond like this, they said, especially not ones who've been traumatized. But Zuri did, and I think I know why. She didn't see me as an owner. She saw me as the person who showed up every single day, even when she was too scared to come near. She saw consistency. She saw patience. She saw someone who didn't want anything from her except for her to heal. That's not ownership. That's respect. And animals know the difference. 3 months after her rescue, we posted her story online. The response was overwhelming. Thousands of people commented, sharing their own stories of exotic animals abandoned or abused. But here's what got me: the number of people who still wanted to buy servals as pets. Even after seeing what Zuri went through, they messaged us asking where they could get one. Zuri will never be released into the wild. She was taken too young. She doesn't have the skills to survive. But she has a sanctuary where she can run, climb, hunt, and live naturally. She has expert care, she has freedom within safety, and she has people who will never abandon her. So here's my question for you. What would you have done if you'd found Zuri in that crate? Would you have walked away like her previous owners, or would you have fought for her? Because there are thousands of exotic animals out there right now suffering in silence because someone thought it would be cool to own a wild animal. If Zuri's story makes you angry, let that anger fuel action. Support sanctuaries, report illegal exotic pet sales, speak up. Because animals like Zuri can't speak for themselves, but we can.